I visited the 100 Famous Views of Edo, painted by my favorite artist, Hiroshige Ando, to see what the scenes look like today. Fudonotaki Falls in Oji, number 049, depicts a waterfall behind Shouju-in Temple, located in Takinogawa 2Chome, Kita Ward, Tokyo. The Shakuji River runs under the JROE station. The area is now being developed as Otonashi Park, and the flow of the river has been slightly changed. After a 10-minute walk upstream along the well-developed promenade on the right bank of the Shakuji River, you will arrive at Shouju-in Temple surrounded by bushes. The Fudonotaki waterfall depicted by Hiroshige is a small waterfall that falls into the Shakuji River behind the Shouju-in Temple. In fact, it seems to have flowed down from between the former Takinogawa Junior High School and Shouju-in Temple, which is now the Takinogawa branch office of the Kita Ward office. This is a picture map of the Oji area from the Tempo period. North is usually up. Oji is the only place in the suburbs of Edo that is described in such detail on a map of that time. At that time, Oji was like a theme park that was quite far away from Edo. Ukiyo-e, where you can enjoy cherry blossom viewing and fall foliage viewing, with a great view, was just south of the present JROE station. The Oji-inari shrine is crowded with Edo citizens who come to buy kites on the day of noon every month. Oji-gongen, the origin of the name Oji. And above all, the many tea houses lined up around the shrine, including Ebi and Ukiyo-e. Together, they formed the town of Oji. The river flowing here is the Shakuji River, also called the Otonashi River, which became a meandering ravine after passing through Itabashi Juku on the Nakasendo. There were 7 waterfalls flowing into the river, hence the name, Oji-nanataki, 7 waterfalls of Oji, and this was also a famous place in Oji. For this reason, the right bank of the Otonashi River was called Takinogawa Village. The reason why this map has such detailed explanations is because it also served as a sightseeing map. In this painting, Hiroshige depicts one of the waterfalls, Fudonotaki, as a tourist attraction. At the time, sea bathing was not widespread, so bathing in the waterfalls of Takinogawa was popular among the common people of Edo as a way to cool off. Hiroshige painted 6 pictures of this neighborhood, including Fudonotaki Waterfall, in his 100 Famous Views of Edo, so please take a look at them all together. You can clearly see that Oji was a place of longing for the common people of Edo. It was possible to return from the center of Edo on a day trip, but most people stayed overnight and ate delicious food before returning home. Of these, only Oji-inari seems to have been particularly popular, as depicted in the Rakugo story, Oji no Kitsune, the Fox of Oji, and Hiroshige painted Oji-inari many times outside of the 100 Famous Views of Edo. Now let's actually take a closer look at Hiroshige's painting. The first thing that strikes you is the large, thick stream of waterfalls in the center of the painting, with a shimenawa rope hanging above it. According to the book, this place is surrounded by cliffs on 3 sides, like a cave, the rocks smoothly covered with moss, surrounded by dense trees, and when you reach the waterfall basin, you can feel the cold even on a hot day in midsummer. The waterfall falls from a high place, and the tip of the water plays like a ball. Hiroshige's painting seems to convey the atmosphere of the book, except for the scale of the waterfall. There is a theory that the reason Hiroshige depicted the waterfall so solidly and thickly is because he imagined the waterfall as the sword of Fudomayu, given the name Fudonotaki. In the lower part of the painting, there is a naked person doing waterfall rituals, a person sitting on an alcove to have a cup of tea after finishing waterfall rituals on a wide riverbank, an old lady carrying the setup and tea, and 2 geisha with umbrellas watching the waterfall rituals. The umbrellas are not parasols, but rather are used to block the spray of water that has turned into mist. In his picture book Edo Souvenir, Hiroshige also depicted Fudonotaki Falls and the scenery across the street. The right-hand page depicts a man and a woman swimming under a rather thick waterfall and a geisha-like woman coming down the slope. The left page depicts a tea house across the street and two people swimming in the Shouju River. I actually went to find this place. This is the entrance to Shouju-in Temple. You will be greeted by a bell tower gate made of Oya stone, reminiscent of the Dragon Palace at first glance. A little further on, you can see that it is a cozy temple with the main hall right behind the gate. Shouju-in Temple was founded in the Muromachi period, 1336–1573, by a monk named Gakuzenbo from Nara, who visited the Takinogawa area in the eastern part of Japan after receiving a message from a dream. In the autumn of the same year, he scooped up a statue of Fudo from the swollen Shouju River and placed it beside the waterfall, and this waterfall was called Fudonotaki Falls. According to a book written during the Bunga and Bunsei periods, the waterfall was reputed to cure various diseases when struck by it, and many Edo citizens gathered here in the summer, making it a very busy place. This waterfall also disappeared due to the straightening of the Shouju River and revetment work triggered by the Kano River typhoon in 1958, and later, with the reconstruction of Takinogawa Junior High School next door, even the traces of the waterfall disappeared. The statues of Fudonotaki that were relocated at that time are enshrined here. This is actually where the waterfall would have started to fall in the past. The fence and bushes prevent me from thinking about the past. This is the image of Fudonotaki Falls as it appeared in the book 100 Views of Edo from the Present and the Past, published in 1919. A small statue of Fudonotaki can be seen on the right edge. However, even in this book, it is written that it is a dry waterfall with not a drop of water falling. According to an earlier book from Edo, Fudonotaki Falls is also called Senryu no Taki and is a little more than 1 meter high, narrower than the Dako no Taki Falls of Maguro Fudo, but with a higher waterfall mouth and more powerful water. The waterfall at Maguro Fudo is narrower than the one at Maguro, but the mouth of the waterfall is higher and the water is more powerful. The waterfall was probably smaller than the waterfall at Fudonotaki Falls, which today would be equivalent to running a tap at full capacity. This is a photo taken from around the other side of the river. It has completely changed, and there is no sign of it. I inserted Hiroshige's painting beside it. You can see how Hiroshige exaggerated the width of the river and the scale of the waterfall in this painting. It's a little funny, but based on Hiroshige's painting, the waterfall is more than 20 meters high, 3 meters wide, and the river is about 30 meters wide. In fact, when I tried to fit the current photo into Hiroshige's painting, the scene became somewhat surreal. This was too sad, so I asked Fudonotaki, who was in the precincts, to make an appearance. There are several scenes in the Edo Hayake that Hiroshige exaggerated. However, when I visited the site, I found that the view of this Fudo waterfall was so far from reality. Hiroshige was very fond of this Ohi area and painted many pictures of it. This time, Hiroshige's desire to save the people of Edo from the sense of stagnation caused by the Great Ansei earthquake seems to have driven his brush a little too far. This time, Hiroshige's desire seems to have pushed his brush a little too far. He would have gotten angry with Fudonotaki